I have a quick notice. This video was recorded quite a bit ago, and I'm just now getting around to releasing it. So some of the comments in here might be a little bit outdated to the timeline in which I said them. Welcome back from the break. More Diablo 2. So here's where we're at. We've got an inventory full of junk. Let's see here. A lot of this stuff can just be sold. Update since last time. Not going to be showing any files today or notes directly, but... Man, it feels bad selling all these. There has been an update to Stagger. It is preliminary, and it's not going to last very long because I am working to do custom code for all of it. So hopefully at some point that is the reality of it all. I'm just going to sell this too. Sell that. Got a lot of junk in here. Okay, we're gonna keep that. We'll sell that. That. Keep that in there, and that in there. And yeah. So what is currently being planned and built is I've got what's called D2 template up and running on my end. I just don't have anything really being used with it yet. Put that back on. So D2 template was used for apparently /Diablo back in the day. I don't know how long ago that was. But yeah, sure, why not? Just sell that too. And it allows you to inject code directly into the game without having to do kind of assembly level code edits like I've been doing. Just for reference, that is what I've been doing. And this will allow us to do... One, it'll be a more portable mod. It'll just be more portable. And two, I can do more with code editing than ever before. It does take a little more setup. It takes a little bit more nuance. But it makes things that were previously kind of not possible. So some of the examples of things that I'll be doing is, like I have the stagger formula currently set up. Let's go talk to people here. Imperial!
See you again, hero. There is a dog. Yes?
Yes, there is. Let's go kill Iswal. Oh, let's buy potions. That would probably be good. So one of the formulas that I'm currently running is that in Diablo 2 normally, I should say, if you... And this surprisingly is hard to... This information is really hard to find. So stagger in Diablo 2. In base game, if you are staggered by melee, or kind of the default stagger at least, Ooh, that fire. The default is something like 1/8. Shouldn't say it's something like, it is 1/8. So every time I hit an enemy for 1/8 with the bow, the enemy will stagger, or if I get hit for 1/8 by a physical projectile. Now, melee, as well as elemental projectiles like Fireball, use 1/16. And then there's a bunch of weird hit classes that use something much tinier, like 132 and 164. So simple stuff there, and obvious numbers of just 8, 16, 32, 64 there. So how I've changed it currently is that if an enemy takes 20% of their health in damage, they have a 50% chance to stagger. I think it's working correctly. I debugged aspects of it, but then I was trying to rewrite it, so I'm not sure how far I got with it before I started working on the deeper aspects of it. Now, if they do not get staggered by damage ratio, then they will be staggered by a 10% chance in general. And that's up to testing, really. So you'll notice that I'm actually getting staggered quite often. And the idea is that this gives value to armor class, armor value, over just doing all points of stats into health. There still should be a value to health, in my opinion, but I wanted to offset some of the value that is normally seen in Diablo 2 from health. Now, what's interesting to note is that Path of Exile, the original Path of Exile, because I know number 2 is just around the corner here. How much mana does that give me? 52 points. How much does this give me? 43. Yeah, those probably still need to be rebalanced a little bit. Anyways, Path of Exile copies Diablo 2. So how it works in Diablo 2 is you have this divisor that I was just discussing, the 1/8, the 1/16. And then if you take damage equivalent to 4 times the divisor. So if it's a melee hit, the divisor is 1/16. If you take 4 times that damage, that's, 4/16. So 25% of your health. In the base game, this would create a guaranteed stagger effect. Ooh, full diamond. Nice. And that's pretty strong. Ooh, an edge bow. Their fire breath hurts really badly. If you take less than 4 times the damage, but greater than 2 times the damage of the divisor, so in this case, anywhere between 2/16 and 4/16, less than 4/16, but greater than 2/16, then you would have a 75% chance to stagger. And then if you take the value in between 1 times and 2 times, it's a 37% chance to stagger. That's Diablo 2. Now, in Path of Exile, I looked this up. It is... Man, that fire hurts. It is a little bit more consistent across the board, as it's more of a raw formula. Basically speaking, it is 200 times your damage divided by their health. And this gives a percentage, and that percentage is the chance to stagger. Or in that case, that game is called stun, whereas in Diablo 2 it's actually hit recovery or get hit mechanic. Man, I'm loving that fear. That fear is great. In Path of Exile, how this mechanic works, you can see that I'm staggering him pretty regularly here,
Not enough mana.
is that if it's below or equal to 10% chance, the stagger chance is truncated to 0. So if it's 10% or less, you just don't have a chance to stagger at all, for whatever reason. And then if it is greater than 10%, then, it's greater than 10%. But due to the formula being 200 over percent max health or whatever, at 50%... What the... Pick it. At 50% damage to health, so if I get hit by a big hammer and take 50% of my health in a single chunk in Path of Exile, this is a guaranteed stun, 50% or more of your max health. Now, I'm ignoring the intricacies of elemental damage having a negative multiplier. I think it's like minus 25%. And then... is this the right way? Yes. Oh, of course there's a bunch of enemies right here. Right in the doorway. But this leads to an interesting situation in both of these games because they're both so similar in some of their mechanics. What this means is that health is king because so much is scaled to health. Your stun effect is scaled to enemy health. Their stun effect is scaled to your health. And health is already a really important stat in, well, pretty much almost every game. Unless you're doing, like, one-hit builds in Dark Souls. You know. Which people do definitely do. But it's nice to, you know, have enough health to survive 1 or 2 hits in Dark Souls between your armor and your vitality. Whoa. He's booking it. He's booking the other direction. So, what I'm doing is different, though. What I have implemented in the mod is that there is a 10% chance to stagger on every hit. There's no damage association with that 10%. Just is damage greater than 0. And... let's see if we can do some, like, exploding arrows here. If we can get some stuff going here. Okay, let's just do Immolation Arrow.
I need mana.
Always the better potion, or the better arrow at this point. I really wish the other one was better, though. A fire is impossible to see through. Throw that away. So yeah, 50% chance to be staggered if you take 20% of your maximum health in a single blow, and that doesn't scale up. Technically it does scale up right now in the mod. I'm pretty sure. But in the future it won't scale up. It'll just be kind of this threshold. You've heard me talk about certain aspects of other games. You'll know that I like threshold gaming. Threshold design means that you can kind of hit a point. It does mean that games are solvable to some degree. You know that in Dark Souls, you don't want more than, say, 40 dexterity on a build. At least not in the base campaign, the base playthrough. But in this case, you'd want to have, you know, enough health to potentially not take hits that would do large amounts of damage, enough to stagger you. With the lower damage that I plan to have, a lot of enemies aren't going to be able to stagger you in general as much. There are still enemies that can stagger you with stuns and some other stuff, which are the actual stuns in Diablo 2. There's some weird mechanics within that as well that will probably be removed, where if you're stunned and you take a stagger, it doesn't even calculate the stagger chance, it just staggers you instantly until the stun is over, which is kind of weird. If I can, I'll patch that out. Wow, I just can't stand there and take those hits. I'm sad. This means that stagger is just as much a function of not getting hit with shields and armor as it is for getting hit with the percentage of max health. So if you had a low health build, which is totally viable, potentially in the future here, you would be able to stack up armor and basically not be hit almost at all. And currently I do have the minimum chance to hit at 25%. I may lower this to 20%. I know that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it kind of is. Players shouldn't generally be hitting that. Like, I have a 93% chance. Oh yeah, I did update after the Mephisto fight. I did update some of the numbers, the scaling numbers in the game. Mephisto, after the update, he went from, I think, a 69% or 59% to a like a 78, 80%, something like that. 84%, I think it was the chance to hit that I was able to pull off. So I didn't want to just, you know, buff myself into oblivion, but I am a very heavy dexterity build here. You can see that I have 86 dexterity. I have spent, you know, around 100 stat points. I have a lot into strength. I have a lot into dexterity. But I could be more into dexterity, right? I could be more into penetration here. Because that gives me attack rating. But you can see that I have really good attack rating. I know it doesn't look like much because we're used to such huge numbers of attack rating in this game. But 147. And so Mephisto had a 95% chance to hit me. Almost every single one of his abilities can one-shot me due to my resistances. And I wanted that to be just a little bit softer than it was. And it's just a balancing act, because I have to go through and I have to look at, like, what is a normal enemy supposed to have for armor at this level? And then I need to be able to do it quickly and do it mathematically because, well, it's a spreadsheet. The file is monster level or mon level, and it's just a table. And it gives a multiplier to things like attack speed, or not attack speed, attack chance, hit chance, as well as armor values and stuff like that. So I did adjust some armor values, I adjusted some attack values. So Bale had an 86% chance to hit me, I had an 84% chance to hit him, and I felt like that was probably pretty fair, those changes. Oh yeah, and stagger in Diablo 2, you can't be staggered by fire like this. Although it will play the sound, it won't. It's only a soft hit. It doesn't actually. The soft hit is like an animationless sound instead of the full animation. They use hit classes and hit flags for a bunch of stuff, so that was their way of doing stuff. Now, the 10% chance to stagger, it's probably a little high, but I just wanted it to be, you know, desync from health, not dependent of health, so to say. So as we make armor better, we're making health kind of worse, but not really, but a little bit. As we make things like dexterity maybe a little bit more required, but not at the same time of every class. There will be abilities currently, for example, exploding arrow, the explosion, while it does carry the physical damage of the arrow as well as the skill damage. From what I understand, the skill function that I'm using, it ignores armor. Not really my intention, but it does kind of make sense that an explosion would ignore at least some armor. And then, follow up on that, of course, the immolation arrow, the burning ground, ignores armor as well. But the burning ground ignores both armor and dagger. So now we've got a situation where, you know, it's good because of one thing, but it's bad because of another. Oh, there's way too many dudes right here, and I don't like it, and we're just gonna put a tomahawk up there. Okay, town portal deployed. Mumbling is going to end now. Ow. Yeah, you don't hurt or anything. I thought I killed, like, most of what was down here, but apparently not. This chance to hit me. 32%. That, doesn't feel like 32%. I can't get him to stand in the fire.
Not enough mana. I need mana.
Of course he slows me. Oh, that was another thing. Let's get through the portal. Okay. I was able to code edit the cold effect on players. I mean, that's good, but I just don't care. That's also good, probably. Attack rating, max damage. So this bow is better than that bow. I don't know why we're getting an edge bow. It's really... It feels really early to get an edge bow. Isn't that supposed to be like level 13, not 18? Something? Not 30. 32, something like that? I don't know. It's... mana per kill. Magic damage reduction. We take this off, do we lose our armor? We do not. Let's go back to magic damage reduction. Fire resist, cold resist. Back to this one as well. We got +2 all stats. We need massive amounts of potions. I'll just sell that. I don't need the bow itself. So cold effect is, or in the base game, it is 50% slow, and that's both attack speed and movement speed, which just feels absolutely insane. So I have changed that. As well, you suck. You have way too much health. I've changed that to 25% instead of 50. Now, something I'm going to do that's probably highly questionable, controversial, I should say. First of all, let's not die. Is I'm going to be removing all the poison reduction, the poison length reduction from the game. I kind of don't like it. But one of the reasons I don't like it is because, did you know poison resistance also gives poison reduction? As in, it reduces the damage and it also reduces the duration. Which is kind of double dipping, in my opinion. I talked about that last episode, of course. Goodness. As well, why are you this sucky to deal with? But the idea is that poison could get to this point where you could get something like 75% damage reduction. He was probably about to kill me there. Using a lot of money on potions, but these potions probably should also be more expensive.
mana.
Ow.
I need mana.
It was I that told Diablo and his brothers.
Goodbye, Iswald.
Okay, let's go in here.
Good evening.
Identify items. Talk to this dude. Get a bunch of skill points. We're making a lot of progress with this immolation arrow, but I don't think it's going to be very useful in Hell or Pandemonium. So fire resist might be useful. Might be useful specifically against Diablo himself. Yep, nothing of value was found here. Block speed though. And what was I talking about? I killed Iswal, now I forgot. Oh, poison damage. I was talking about stupid poison damage. Start working our way to a Valkyrie here. That would be probably somewhat helpful. I think the exit was this way. It is that way. So you could get like 75% poison damage or poison resistance, which would reduce the duration by 75%. Then you could get like half poison duration on like 2 items, and that would give you another 75%. Stacking multiplicatively, this gives you something like 75% of the remaining of the 75%. You get the idea, and then the math of it all is like 93% damage reduction, and that's not even including, you know, the fact that you could also get max resistances, which won't scale perfectly with that math, but max resistances of, say, like, you know, 85 or 90%, and poison resist or poison duration reduction can be just absolutely crazy high. So I would love to see something that is closer to, say, give me a second here. Oh my goodness. Too many things going on. Hard to concentrate when I'm also trying not to die. Gauntlets. Those should be probably a lot better than 12 for 60 strength. We'll work on that.
I need mana.
But I'd like something that's probably closer to Dota or League of Legends or something like that with tenacity. And the idea would be that you can get length reduction or you can get, you know, damage reduction, something like that. Physical damage reduced by 2, that's not bad. I don't know yet if I can program something quite like that. Tenacity in League of Legends. And the unreleased game by Valve definitely has something similar. They just call it status resist reduction or something like that, which is an ethereal max damage, max durability. It's like the highest durability you could probably get on a melee weapon right at this point in the game. It's double durability because of being ethereal. I'm probably going to remove that effect, though. Make it just normal durability. In the base game, it's half, so... it's still double to the base game. But yeah, I just don't like resistances giving a double dip like that. It bothers me. I actually nerfed this in another game, Salt and Sanctuary, that I was privileged to work on, and there was a kind of similar situation where poison, it requires you to trigger the actual effect. And by triggering it, the opponent is... they start picking out of their pool of damage. And let's put up a... Don't have a potion in that slot. That would be helpful. You have... what's the right word here? You have a pool of damage that you're supposed to be taking damage from, and it does not trigger until you've dealt a certain number of hits. And those hits are required based on your... not your poison damage itself, but kind of just the system within the game. So in Salt and Sanctuary, you need to hit like 4 times for the poison to proc on in general, and that's if they have no poison resistance whatsoever. Then the default game gave you another 5 hits required to be hit by it to be poisoned. If you had maybe it was 200 resistances. 200 being 100% damage reduction, 50% damage reduction, 100% EHP, effective health percent. And I removed this double dipping by reducing that from 5 to like 2.5. There a wall I can shoot this through without making these all super angry at me? Like, really? Well, I can do this, I guess. Not very useful. Yeah, not very useful at all. We're just gonna go this way, and then you're just gonna leave and, hi, how you doing? That fear effect is really funny. Feels like it's way stronger than I'm used to, but, you know, it was in the base game. I didn't do much with it. Another thing I'm probably going to be doing, which is going to be weird, probably to anyone that plays Diablo likes, is I'm probably going to make it so that maximum resistance is 50 instead of 75. So it does mean that resistances are going to be less required in some ways. But you'll still have this danger zone. You'll hit that maximum a lot sooner, which means you'll have this kind of danger zone. I think that could be interesting anyways. It's an experiment. This is an adventure in modding. Did it. With normal arrows to boot. I don't want the belt. There we go. So you might see more items having just like small, like plus 50, or not plus 50, plus 5% maximum fire resistance or something. Because you might want it, but it becomes more of a luxury instead of a requirement. So 75% will still be the absolute maximum. Like right now, it's 95% is the absolute maximum. You can't get higher than that. But what I'm thinking about is something like 50 to 60%, probably closer to 60, 65, something like that, percent. Because it means that damage doesn't have to scale as much to be threatening. It also means that you're not allowed to scale as much. And anything that gives negative resistances, it's going to have to be all sorts of reworked, and that's where some of the code editing is probably going to come into play.
Not enough mana.
I'm probably also going to remove a lot of, not necessarily the choking gas potions, but I'm probably going to remove the antidote and thawing potions and stamina potions. I know a lot of people don't care about these to begin with, and the people that do care about them tend to use them constantly. But I've just kind of decided to possibly reduce some of the clutter, both in the drop pool and just in general, by potentially cutting those out. River of Flame. We did it. Maybe they'll still be at the shops, but maybe they'll be a lot more expensive or something. I don't know. But either way, I'd kind of like to remove them from the drop pool. But yeah, negative resistances, I think, would be... well, there's a lot of them in this game. You get negative resistances when you go up a tier of difficulty, from like normal to nightmare and nightmare to hell. And then you've got lower resistance from the Necromancer. Luckily, these guys don't do much damage. They, I think, are stealing my mana, though. Yep. The Terron hit is... Didn't invent that. It's only at 18%. Why is everything extra fast? There must be something enchanted up there. With the implementation of Diablo 2 templating tool, which allows me to write C and C++ code directly into the game, although it's, like I said, it's a bit tedious. I do have to find where some of the original code is, how it works, things like that. But, oh. Ow. Ow. It should allow me to... Ooh. Ooh, there's something still hitting me. What did I find? Bone snap. Aw, snap. Anyways, crushing blow, damaged undead. And ethereal. And fire resist, cold resist. Yeah. Which I will say, that is still pretty good too. But it means I can potentially, with the templating tool, I can potentially write a change to the durability functions that I've been really wanting to do to make arrows able to be ethereal, as well as to have durability and actually lose them. Would require me to kind of figure out where in the world the release of the arrow is. For the arrow. I mean, I could code it just like I mean, like they coded melee, where the arrow only gets subtracted from your bow if you hit something with it. But I think that's a little less logical. Getting really lucky with those spheres. I don't do enough damage.
Not enough mana.
Where'd you go? Went way down here. Oh, I don't like the fire breath.
Mana.
Yeah, I can make durability on shields work more like how I want it to. I can make durability work on bows, potentially. So a lot of my stretch goals become very realistic, although still a good amount of effort is going to be required to build all that. I think one of the big takeaways from me is that it's going to make the mod portable. I can basically share a single DLL and have all of the code edits in a single DLL. It makes maintaining the code easier. It's just handy. And from what I understand, other huge mods like possibly Project Diablo 2 and stuff like that do use stuff like this. To do their code editing. They might use like a different kind of mod loading tool or something, but they do use something like it. So. Okay, we're taking out the big guns again.
I need
And you'll notice that the gameplay here is probably a lot similar to Diablo 1, where you aggro too many enemies and everything becomes really risky. I miss the goatmen. Goatmen in Diablo 1 are probably one of the best enemies visually, because they'll like hit you over the head and then do like some kind of like spinning attack. And it's just like, was that necessary? No, but the style points are amazing. Well, I'll give you that, Goatman. It's all about them style points. 35% magic. Like, oh, okay. Oh yeah, something to note. This isn't like explicit in the game, but the level of belt here, this is a lower level belt. This has a higher quality level. It has +1 magic level to it, so it can get higher affixes. And the belts go 0, 1, 2, 3. They just gain 1 magic level per belt tier, if you will. And I might increase that in the future, so that it's a little bit more than just +1. But for right now, +1 seems pretty good. So 57% chance to hit. Oh yeah, that's... So, chance to block. I would love to make it so that certain masteries actually work differently. And one of the things I want to do is I want to change block entirely to something closer to Diablo 1. In Diablo 2, you need more dexterity every time you level up to block. And so I think it'd be kind of neat to remove that and make it a little bit simpler. But I'm also looking at potentially going towards a simpler blocking system, which would also allow you to block maybe without, how to say, without a blocking item. So staves in Path of Exile, I believe, have like a 10 or 15% chance to block. And I'd like to mimic that. I've always liked staves, and in past mods as well as this one, the martial arts can be done with staves. And weapon block doesn't work, as far as I'm aware, with the staves, because I think it's actually hard-coded to be claws. It's probably because of an animation or my lack of coding knowledge, text file knowledge, but why you guys gotta be so tanky? Go away. Another plated belt. Those guys really like dropping belts, apparently. Wow, that fire resist, though. I think I'm gonna wear that. So you can see I'm at 75% fire resist. Just kind of crazy there. And I'll still take some fire damage. But my thoughts would be to minimize some of that over time here. But yeah, being able to do some of the code edits that the template allows me to do, potentially, with memory injection and side injection. But can you not hit me? Thank you. Go away. Go away. Oh, which one's the melee one? That one. I want that one. You're gonna chase me back all the way this way, huh? There was a potion there somewhere. Bye, little spirit dude? You just, like, ran way far away. Another thing that I'd like to do with martial arts, I think has been done kind of before with some of the other mods out there, but I still think it's cool. The idea that, and Diablo 2 Resurrected did it as well with the Mosaic rune word, but the idea that kind of, at least, with the Mosaic Rune, where it's more of a kind of type thing. But having it, the charges would, with Mosaic, it's like 50% chance or something to not consume your charges. I would like to make it so that technically finishing hits are actually hard-coded. I'd like to kind of change some of that to be like less hard-coded. Okay, I'm gonna go buy some potions. Thanks. We'll just go this way.
Hail to you, champion.
Aha! Negative 31% enhanced damage with 13 max damage. That's just funny. I love stuff like that. Oh, I didn't finish buying potions here. So, martial arts. Having them potentially be able to self-trigger would be kind of interesting. I don't know if other people would enjoy that. It'd be kind of like Diablo 3 or Cadence in Grim Dawn, where you kind of like every third hit is just auto-released. And I don't know. I think it'd be kind of fun. Maybe it wouldn't. I love Cadence in Grim Dawn. It's just a really fun ability. I know there's a similar ability in Path of Exile. I don't recall what it's called. Brutality, maybe. Something like that. I think it's a support skill. Let's do some more health. But having a way to create a blocking mechanism, going back to that, I think would be really cool. Maybe it would require you have a specific item or skill to allow it. So you wouldn't just be able to pick up a not a shield, a helmet or a chest piece and just start blocking because that says, oh, you have 10% chance to block on that piece of armor. But having it on, say, great weapon, like a maul, 10% chance to block. Having it on, and I don't know how that's going to work with the animation at all. Like, can the animation play if you don't have a shield in your hand? I have no idea. Okay, it's time to pull out the big guns again. I probably wouldn't put block on something like, say, a bow or a helmet. It would probably always be isolated to a weapon, which I think makes more sense. So you could maybe have a maul or a staff that just has block built into it, or maybe just certain melee weapons have it built in by default, and other weapons could have it built in by accident more so. Accident, but incident, I guess, would be maybe the better word there.
I need mana. Not enough mana.
I'm literally trying to click the mana potion. In this case, also, I'd probably make martial arts for the assassin to be more like assassin mastery than claw mastery. The idea being something like it would be able to use daggers, it would be able to use claws. I'm not huge into class-specific gear, so I think it would be logical to kind of allow a couple different situations. So the assassin could maybe use like one-handed daggers, one-handed claws. Not that there's two-handed daggers or anything. And, you know, maybe a shield if you wanted to, but you could also use, you know, dual wield. And obviously I cannot create... I'm not an animator. But I'm not going to be able to create like new animations and allow dual wielding of swords or anything on the assassin. But I think, you know, some basic concepts there would be pretty good. I highly doubt that we are capable of defeating Diablo. But I'll throw my body at it. And I probably will have to cut this segment short either way. So we'll see if we can get to Diablo. And if he kills us... he kills us. That's what it is. Still need like 2 skill points to get to Valkyrie. And I know I wasted a skill point. I do have a respec. I could go respec if I wanted to. Never thought about it before, but I wonder how hard it would be to make an actual respec menu. Where it's not click a button, get every stat and skill point back all at once. But instead, like, be able to deallocate things. Would probably take a lot of work. There's like mouse point location and button type math.
I need mana.
I mean, it'd be worse than, say, mono game, but probably not that much worse, would it? Still down to the code. I don't know. Probably not something I care to actually implement, but that's just me. We're an hour into this segment, so if you haven't come to the Discord channel, I will say that there is a Discord attached below, and that is probably a great place to be. It's not happening yet, but if enough of you join, it might be more lively, that's for sure. Yeah, that was about 60 from off that mana potion there. Not bad. Let's throw up a safety portal. I think there's some desync with the arrows, even though I'm playing single player, where they're going invisible occasionally. Something I want to do with the, going back to way back, this stagger damage, something I really want to do is actually make it so that poison can't stagger ever. Possibly that cold is less likely to stagger since it already slows.
I need mana.
Like you can freeze, you can slow, I mean... slow currently is only nerfed on players. But I will be making more stuff go along with the slow as well. But As for stagger, poison will probably get the no-go treatment, and then lightning will get the BOGO treatment. Buy one, get one. Either because lightning will have, you know, more projectiles like chain lightning, or whatnot. Because if it's 10% chance and you get more things out, which right now is probably actually a problem for arrows. Like, it might need to be something closer to like 5% chance or 8% chance. I don't need to only be in segments of 5 here. It's a global unchanging number. It can probably be an 8 or a 6 or something weird.
I need mana.
It's a hard balance to strike, though,
Not enough.
because I know, like, Path of Exile gives a bonus rating, 25% bonus rating as a ratio to melee, and a negative 25% to elemental stagger. And you can see how much I'm staggering these guys. Part of that is simply because I'm hitting them and dealing damage. Like, that's it. That's all. But I don't want stagger to be only health-based. I want there to be some kind of risk-reward to standing still. And you'll notice that right now I am testing this, and right now it's probably a little bit too much.
Not enough mana.
And this is just the basic code edit, so it's not what I'm intending in the long term here. As right now, if they get hit for like 40% damage, they have like a 75% stagger. Something like that. I'm also hitting them pretty decently hard. But I think there's some interesting balance attributes that could be seen here. Wow, a resist cold shrine in the middle of hell. I mean, I wasn't cold to begin with, but now I'm really not cold. Zombie head, don't care.
I need mana.
If poison doesn't trigger the get hit animation or stagger animation, then it makes sense that, well, and also fire doesn't, ground fire doesn't.
Not enough mana.
Then you have the situation that maybe poison always hits when it comes to spells. Poison Nova is a giant explosion of gas, you know? Something like that. Oh, he's lightning enchanted. That's nice. Why couldn't have this been a lightning shrine? Ooh. Ooh, it's just missing me. Beautiful. I will probably be adding a lot more immunities I've mentioned this in the past. I haven't gotten around to it. So things like these Stormcasters, they might be resistant to Lifesteal and Mana Steal, stuff like that. Some ghosts might be like massively resistant to physical or just completely immune to it. You might have enemies that are more resistant to poison or cold, being more regular. I know, I feel like the Fishy Bosch and the Super Maggot and the Maggot's Lair, they're cold immune in normal. But you can imagine these guys being... These guys are... They're labeled as undead, they're... You know, whatever. There we go. Let's just do this. Come on. But I want things to have bigger strengths, bigger weaknesses. So, you know, I know a lot of people aren't a huge fan of immunities. I used to hate them, but I really like them. See, I think one of the things is that I see Diablo as this kind of... Diablo 1 and Diablo 2 both. I see it as more of an RPG than an action game. I know it's the ARPG genre and everything all like that, but I see it as kind of this, like, tell your own story-ish thing, you know? You've got this character that maybe should have had a backstory, but doesn't, and you're trying to figure out how to get through this event. Oh, come on.
I need mana.
Not what I was going for there. I'm out of potions. Please don't kill me with the fire. Don't walk back into it. That's bad. I'm gonna have to cut this segment short. Sorry about that, but it is what it is. Until the next time, we'll come back to this waypoint and start again, and maybe have some more mechanics that have changed. Maybe I'll have the stagger formula actually up and running from the template form. With full control instead of just kind of some altered numbers in the original machine code, so to say. So hope your day was a little bit better. Hope you enjoyed this stream or video, because I do live recording, but I don't actually stream it. But anyways, take care.